It's mid-January. You've probably already set your 2026 goals, but maybe you haven't quite started planning. So before you go any further, I need you to answer one question. What do you actually want? Not what you think you should want, not what the business gurus or your coach tells you to want. What do you want? And maybe more importantly, what don't you want anymore? Let me walk you through this. Most CEO parents skip this step. They go straight to goals, revenue targets, growth plans, launch calendars, but they never stop to ask if any of that is what they actually want. They're building towards something they've never clearly defined. And then they wonder why, when they hit those goals, it doesn't feel like they thought it would. Today, I want to walk you through a reflection process that changes everything. 3 questions that get to the foundation of it all. What do you want? What don't you want? And what needs to change to close that gap between the two? I'm Lauren Apple, and I am a scaling strategist for CEO parents to help you build businesses that give you both profit and presence. Because you shouldn't have to choose, and I refuse to. So let's get into it. Question 1. What did 2025 cost you that you're not willing to pay again? Make sure you have a piece of paper, a notebook to write this down. As we reflect on these questions, I want you to dig deep. I don't want you to filter. I don't want you to disclaim. I want you to write everything down that comes to your mind. What did 2025 cost you that you're not willing to pay again? This isn't about beating yourself up. This is about getting the clear, honest truth. Because you can't figure out what you want until you're clear on what you don't want anymore. So let's go there. What moments did you miss in 2025? How many school events did you skip for client calls? How many bedtimes were you absent for? How many dinners were you physically there but mentally somewhere else? How many weekends did you work when you wanted to be with your family? How many vacations were you half on checking email, not really present? What strain did that put on your relationships? Did your spouse or partner or kids express frustration about your availability? Did your kids ask why you were always working? Did you miss moments with people you love that you can't get back? What did it cost your health? What about your mental health? How often were you exhausted? How was your sleep? Were you constantly stressed or anxious? Did you feel burned out by quarter 3? What did you defer? What were the things that you wanted to do that you didn't have time for last year? What hobby or interest got pushed aside? What personal goal got moved to someday? Write it down. All of it. Because this is your not anymore list. This is the pivotal place, the intentional list that's going to help you not get there anymore. If we don't call out the things that we don't want anymore, we will just keep repeating that crazy cycle. These are the costs that you're not willing to pay in 2026. You got to get clear on them, or else they're just going to happen again. So here's my honest reflection. In 2025, I missed one of my son's soccer games because I was out of town for a client retreat. I hated that. I had multiple bedtimes where I was distracted, thinking about work instead of being present. I didn't have a clear buffer between closing my laptop and transitioning into home, family, mom life. I had one argument with my husband about working on vacation. I was too connected. I was consistently exhausted in quarter 3 because I overcommitted and I wasn't consistent and intentional with my buffers this year. And that exercise class I wanted to take, guess what? It never happened. I'm not sharing this to make you feel better, although I hope it does. I'm sharing it because even when you're intentional, things slip. The question isn't whether you paid costs in 2025. You did. I did. We all did. The question is, which costs are you not willing to pay again? That's your foundation for 2026. This is where you say, no more. It's not going to happen. You draw a line in the sand. Not what you want to add, what you want to subtract. Question number 2 for you. Make sure you capture this. Pause the video if you need time to just sit with it and think through it and write all the things down. What is it that you actually want? This sounds simple, but most CEO parents can't answer it clearly. They know what they don't want. They're exhausted and overwhelmed, and they're missing their family. But when you ask, what do you want? They default to revenue goals. I want to hit 300K. I want to cross the $1 million mark. I want to launch a new offer. I want to have more clients. Those aren't wants. Those are tactics. What do you actually want your life to look like? Let's get specific. What do you want your days to look like? What time do you want to start working? What time do you want to stop? What do you want your mornings to feel like? What do you want your evenings to feel like? What do you want to be present for? What do you want your weeks to look like? How many hours do you actually want to work? What days do you want to make sure you have protected for family? What rhythms matter the most to you? What do you want your business to feel like? Do you want it to feel calm or exciting? Do you want to have lots of clients or fewer, deeper relationships? Do you want to be highly visible or quietly successful? What do you want your family to experience? Do you want your kids to see you available and present? Do you want your spouse to feel like they are a priority? Do you want vacations where you actually disconnect and take off? Write it all down. Here's what I want. And you probably heard some of these before. I want to close my laptop at 4 p.m. every day and be done. I want Friday afternoons available for my teenagers. I want to never miss morning hugs or after-school kisses. I want my kids to see me as present, not always working. I want date nights with my husband that aren't interrupted or pushed off because they're not the priority. I want to take real vacations where I'm completely offline and not stressed financially or because of client demands. I want a business that funds our life without consuming it. I want profit, but I also want presence. Not one or the other. That's what I want. What do you want? Write it down. Pause this video so you can get it all out of your head and on a piece of paper. Not in terms of revenue, in terms of life. Because once you're clear on what you want your life to look like, you can reverse engineer the business that supports it. Otherwise, you just end up continuing to go off the path of what you actually built your business for. You had big visions, big dreams, and now you're in a successful multi-six-figure business, but you have gotten trapped. Figuring out what you want is what's going to help you realign your business today to where you want to be. Question 3, what needs to change to close the gap? Now you have 2 lists, what you don't want anymore and what you do want. And there's probably a gap, sometimes larger, sometimes smaller, between where you are and where you want to be. Something needs to change to close it. Right? Have you heard of that definition of crazy, just doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? We can't do that. We need to change to close that gap, to no longer do the things that we don't want to be doing. And so here's the principle I want you to hold on to. And maybe you've heard me say it before. Subtraction always comes before addition. It's like when all the Christmas presents come out, you get rid of a bunch of toys in your house so that you have room for the new presents, right? Most people, they look at their goals and they think, man, what do I need to add in order to reach these goals? What do I need to be doing daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly? More offers, more marketing, more team, more content, more showing up, more. It never ends. But the answer is, if we subtract first, we increase our capacity. So what needs to go? What clients need to go? Were there clients in 2025 who drained you? Who weren't aligned with your values? Who required way more than they paid for? They need to go. What offers need to go? Maybe you've always done it before. Maybe it's what launched your business. What money made you exhausted? Maybe it brought in money, but it wasn't so profitable. What are the things that you've always done but you don't need to do anymore because they're not working? What are you doing that doesn't move the needle? What networking or visibility activities aren't converting? What are you holding on to out of obligation? What habits need to go? Is it checking your email first thing in the morning? Is it working after the kids go to bed so you wake up constantly thinking about work? Is it saying yes when you actually need to say no? Subtraction creates capacity, and capacity is what you need in order to build the business you actually want. Only after you subtract do you then ask what needs to be added. Maybe it's better systems. Maybe it's more support. Maybe it's a different offer structure. Maybe it's boundaries you actually need to enforce. But addition comes second. Subtraction comes first. And sometimes it's the hardest thing to accept. So here's my subtraction list for 2026 in case it's helpful for you to see. 2 clients who weren't aligned with my values, gone. Intensive days that exhausted me and I didn't show up for my family correctly afterwards. I've decided I'm building in better buffers and I'm limiting these days to only a few per year. Trying to work full hours during summer when my kids are home, that was brutal. Dropping to reduced hours in Q3 from now on. Saying yes to opportunities that sound good but don't align. No more, I'm not doing it. That's what I'm subtracting this year. And only after I do that am I asking what I'm adding. What's yours? Write it all down. Pause this video if you need to get it all out of your head. I don't want you to miss this moment to write down what the things you are subtracting. So here's how to use this reflection. You now have 3 things. What you don't want anymore, what you do actually want out of life, and what needs to change in order to close that gap. This is your foundation for 2026. Not revenue goals, not launch plans, foundation. From here, you can build a plan that actually works for your life. A plan built on what you want, not what you think you should want. A plan that subtracts before it adds more to your plate. A plan designed for both profit and presence. Because that's what we're about over here. Building businesses that fund your life without consuming it. Being successful without sacrificing what matters most, but still making an impact. And using your gifts. If that resonates with you, I'd love to have you in my email community. I share frameworks like this every single week for CEO parents who refuse to choose between building a business and being present for their kids. The link is in the description below. Drop your email in the info box and I will see you in your inbox every week. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this. I post every week here on YouTube. I appreciate you watching. Now go figure out what you actually want in 2026 and then build towards that. I'll catch you on the next one.